got the shoulder surgery in the offseason, and that drastically affected his trade market. And now, I mean, I see that there are 5 teams that could be interested, but what's real interest? Just giving a call, or have they made an offer? I don't think Jimmy G will be in training camp. I don't think so at all. Do you think Jimmy G will be at training camp and be a full participant?
He won't be a full participant, that's for sure. I think he could be there, like physically he'll be there. Maybe he's, tossing the football on the sideline, but beyond that, I just don't think they can risk him possibly getting hurt. Then we're on the hook for, if we cut him, I think we will owe him like $7-8 million and we'll get nothing for it. So ultimately, I think what's going to happen is, we'll keep him around. The grand scheme of things, if I'm John Lynch, what I'm doing, I'm going to keep Jimmy for most of training camp and preseason, and I don't really ever want anyone to get hurt. But I think John Lynch is kind of crossing his fingers thinking maybe some team, their quarterback goes down hurt in preseason or in training camp, and then there's a team that's like, oh, damn, we need a quarterback. Bam, here's Garoppolo. So ultimately, I think when it comes to week 1, if we haven't traded him, we'll just cut him just before the Chicago game, which is crazy because that's his hometown. So, but yeah.
I agree with you. I'm going to play a little bit of devil's advocate. It seems like the 49ers would kind of owe it to themselves to, showcase Jimmy. And I know that kind of sounds crazy. We've seen him over the past, I guess technically 2 out of the last 4 seasons. I guess you could say 2.5. I mean, but, we haven't really seen him. Maybe other teams haven't really seen him. Unfortunately, he got the shoulder surgery. I know Drew Brees had the shoulder surgery, and it's funny because Miami, I remember that offseason, Miami, I think they brought him in for a workout. Miami's doctors didn't clear Drew Brees, and then Drew Brees went to New Orleans, and their doctors cleared Drew Brees, and the rest is history. Drew Brees brings the Super Bowl to the Saints. So, obviously, team doctors, let's say Detroit Lions, I know they were rumored to be in it. The Detroit Lions were interested in Jimmy. They would want to bring him in, have their doctor look at his shoulder, have him actually work out. And I don't even know if that's really possible because Jimmy's not a free agent. So Jimmy still being on the Niners roster, I don't think a team can really do that. I think the 49ers kind of have to showcase him. And I agree with your point that that's like a worst case scenario. Jimmy is practicing, he gets hurt. Now the Niners are on the hook for that, $24 million salary. But I think the Niners kind of have to showcase Jimmy to show that, hey, he can still throw. And I know 49ers fans, the faithful, there's some people who still want Jimmy G to be the starter. There are other fans who are tired of Jimmy, 2 years ago, right? But other fan bases, they don't know what we know. They don't have Jimmy fatigue yet. So I think Jimmy G is going to have to showcase, whether it be his agent, Don Yee, just recording Jimmy throwing, which we haven't seen, but supposedly Jimmy's been throwing the past 2 weeks. But I agree with your overall point. I don't think the Niners should allow him to come to camp. If they do, it'll just be him on the side, stretching, running, just light throwing, but not necessarily any team activities. I think that would be in the Niners' best interest. Quick question for you. Is there any way you would want Jimmy G to be the 49ers backup quarterback this season? First, your opinion, and then what you think Kyle Shanahan would do.
Ooh, that's a tough one. I have thought about this. I think on paper it sounds like a good idea. Let's say if we were to be like, hey Jimmy, let's restructure your deal. You come in, be the backup. Maybe instead of 25, he's getting 10 million. Because I don't think there's no way, regardless of whatever happens, he's not making $25 million this year. Not with the Niners, not with any other team. And I think, they would recognize that too. So I think on paper, yes, we would be a better team if Garoppolo is the backup as opposed to Nate Sudfeld, who we don't really know anything about him. We've never really seen him play. Right. On paper, yes, but then I think there's so much more behind the scenes, like in the locker room, day in and day out. Let's just say, for example, if Trey Lance does have a game or two where he struggles, I think he's going to be really good. But let's just say if he struggles, Maybe some of the guys are like the veteran guys, Trent Williams or whoever, getting a little bit older. They're like, let's get Garoppolo back in there. And then it's just a whole mess. So I think ultimately on paper, it sounds good. It could sound good to bring him back, but I just think you have to cut ties. I think it's, move on to Trey Lance and do what you got to do.
Yeah, there's no doubt that if Jimmy G is the backup, this team is better. But as far as emotionally and psychologically for Trey Lance, it's not the best decision, that's for sure. Trey Lance doesn't need to be worried about Jimmy G, behind him, and worrying about him losing his job. If Trey Lance struggles, obviously the fans would say, some fans would say, hey, let's put Jimmy G in. And other fans would say, no, we should give Trey Lance the same amount of time that we gave Jimmy G, right? And I don't think Kyle Shanahan will be influenced by the fans, but when you're a fan, you're a content creator, you hear everything, and it sounds a lot louder than I'm sure what it sounds like to Kyle Shanahan. But I agree. I don't think there's any way Jimmy G would restructure his contract to stay here. He mentioned last year he wouldn't wish this situation on his worst enemy. And, look past the amount of money he made with the 49ers. Obviously, that's a great situation. But I mean, no one wants to have to train their replacement and basically say, hey, you're not good enough to do the job, so we're bringing in someone who we think or hope is going to be better. So, yeah, I don't think there's any way Jimmy G would want to be the backup quarterback here. And hopefully this situation gets resolved, sooner than later.